What if everything you believed about your own intelligence was wrong? Most of us had our intelligence measured by a system that was never designed to capture it fully. Test score, a grade, a teacher's opinion. These are tiny boxes, and you were never meant to fit inside them. Today we're covering the real signs of high intelligence, the ones nobody ever taught you to look for. And I'm willing to bet several of these describe you exactly. Sign number 1. You don't just accept things, you need to understand why. While others are satisfied with surface-level answers, your brain keeps digging. It needs the root, the mechanism, the reason behind the reason. Children do this naturally. Most adults are trained out of it, but the ones who never lose it, they become the most innovative thinkers in any room they enter. Curiosity is not a distraction from intelligence. It is intelligence. The relentless need to understand is one of the clearest signs of a truly sharp mind. Sign number 2. You feel things deeply, maybe more than you think you should. You replay conversations. You notice the things people don't say. You pick up on energy shifts in a room before anyone else does. Most people call this being sensitive. Science calls it something different: emotional intelligence. And research consistently shows it correlates directly with higher cognitive ability. Feeling deeply is not a weakness. It is your brain processing the world at a level most people simply don't have access to. Sign number 3. You talk to yourself, and you've probably been made to feel weird about it. But here's what the research actually says. Talking to yourself, especially using your own name, is a sign of advanced metacognition, which is your brain's ability to observe and regulate its own thinking. When you narrate your thinking out loud, you process information faster, you catch errors, you find solutions that stay silent when you just think internally. Some of the greatest minds in history were known for this. Einstein would talk through physics problems out loud. Tesla would hold entire engineering conversations with himself. You're in good company. Sign number 4. Your brain refuses to shut off at night. While everyone else is asleep, your mind is making connections, solving problems, revisiting conversations, planning, questioning, creating. Research from the London School of Economics found a direct link between high intelligence and staying up late. Your brain's active at night because it genuinely has more to process. Is it exhausting? Absolutely. But that restless racing mind of yours is not a problem to be fixed. It's a feature. Sign number 5. You adapt quickly, even when the situation is completely new. Most definitions of intelligence that psychologists agree on come back to one thing: the ability to adapt to new environments. Not memorization, not test scores, adaptation. If you've ever been told you're good at figuring things out, that you pick things up quickly, that you land on your feet in new situations, you were being told something important about your mind. Sign number 6. You can genuinely see both sides of an argument, even when you have a strong opinion. This is called cognitive flexibility, and it's one of the highest order thinking skills a brain can develop. Most people mistake stubbornness for strength, but the truly intelligent mind holds its position while still genuinely entertaining the opposite view. That is not weakness, that is intellectual honesty. And here's the hardest part: being willing to change your mind when the evidence is strong enough. Most people can't do that. It takes genuine intelligence to update your beliefs. Sign number 7. You've always felt slightly out of step with the people around you. Small talk feels exhausting. Surface-level conversations feel like wasted time. You want to talk about ideas, about things that actually matter. And when you do find someone who operates on that level, the conversation comes alive in a way that most people never experience. The feeling of not fitting in is often not a social failure. It is intellectual isolation. And it is one of the most commonly reported experiences of highly intelligent people throughout history. Sign number 8. You are your own harshest critic. While others are satisfied with good enough, you can't stop seeing how it could be better. How you could have said it differently, done it more effectively, thought it through more completely. This quality has two sides. It can be exhausting, and if unchecked, it becomes self-destruction. But directed well, it is what separates good from exceptional. The key is learning to use your self-criticism as fuel, not as punishment. The awareness is a gift. What you do with it is the choice. Sign number 9. You see patterns where others see chaos. You notice when something feels off before you can explain why. You see the connection between things that seem completely unrelated. You predict outcomes before they happen because you recognize the pattern that leads there. Almost every major scientific discovery in history came from one thing: someone noticing a pattern that everyone else had walked past 1,000 times. Pattern recognition is not just a skill. It is the engine of human progress. If you've ever said, "Doesn't anyone else notice this?" the answer is often no. Because most people are looking, but very few are actually seeing. Sign number 10. Your sense of humor is different. Darker, drier, more layered. A study published in the journal Cognitive Processing found that people who appreciate and produce dark or complex humor score significantly higher on both verbal and nonverbal intelligence tests. Because humor, real humor, requires your brain to process language, recognize patterns, anticipate and subvert expectations, and read social context all at the same time. That is a massive cognitive load. And the people who find you funny, they're usually the smartest people in the room. Because they're the only ones fast enough to keep up. Sign number 11. You can sit with uncertainty without it breaking you. Most people need resolution. They need to know. Uncertainty is deeply uncomfortable, so they rush to conclusions, snap to judgment, grab the nearest answer just to make the discomfort stop. But intelligent minds can hold open questions. They can say, "I don't know yet," and mean it without panic. John Keats called this negative capability, the ability to remain in uncertainty without irritably reaching after fact and reason. The best answers don't come from forcing a conclusion. They come from having the patience and the intellectual security to wait for the right one. Sign number 12. You are always learning, not because you have to, because you can't stop. You go down rabbit holes. You start reading about one thing, and 3 hours later, you're somewhere completely different. And you loved every second of the journey. Intelligent people are defined not by what they already know, but by their relationship with what they don't know yet. The unknown is not threatening to them, it's an invitation. Every book, every conversation, every experience you squeeze meaning from is your brain becoming more of what it was always capable of being. Sign number 13. You don't accept things just because they've always been that way. Because that's how it's always been done is the most unsatisfying answer your brain can receive. You need a real reason, a logical foundation, a justification that holds up under examination. Every convention that was ever overturned, every system that was ever improved, started with one person who refused to accept, because that's how it's done, as sufficient reason. Your instinct to question is not stubbornness, it is not arrogance, it is the same instinct that built every great thing humanity has ever produced. Sign number 14. You carry things that most people don't even notice. You can't just scroll past suffering without feeling it. You can't ignore injustice without it sitting heavily on you. You feel the weight of things that most people simply tune out. Psychologists call this hyper-empathy, and it is disproportionately common among highly intelligent individuals. It is not pathology. It is profound human awareness. The people who feel the most often end up doing the most because they cannot look away. And that inability to look away changes things. Sign number 15. You would rather go deep into one thing than stay shallow across many. When something genuinely interests you, you don't dabble, you dive. You want to understand it completely, from every angle, at its foundation. In a world that rewards superficial breadth, knowing a little about everything, your instinct toward depth is rare. And it is what creates genuine mastery, genuine expertise, the kind that cannot be faked. Here's what I want you to take away from everything we just covered. Intelligence was never meant to fit inside a test score, a grade, someone else's narrow definition of what smart looks like. The curiosity that won't let you rest, the empathy that runs too deep, the mind that won't shut off at night, the patterns only you can see. These are not quirks. These are not flaws. These are the signature of a mind that works differently and more powerfully than you've been told. You are smarter than you think. You always were. You just needed someone to show you where to look. Subscribe to Mind Mastery. Drop a comment telling me which sign hit you the hardest. I read every single one,